Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, City Current CEO, Jeremy Park.
Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And that's why we're honored to be with Natalie Hennessy Firkser. She is the founder and executive director of the Aloe Family. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here.
We have a lot of good to talk about, but let's start with a little bit of an illustration. So there's some symbolism with aloe. Give us some background for why choosing the name the Aloe Family.
Sure. So we serve in two different countries right now. We serve here in Nashville, and then we also serve in a small town, in a border town in Mexico. And in that town, it gets up to 120 degrees. It's a desert and not much can grow there, except for cactuses and aloe plants. And so the aloe plant, we say that it can grow just with just a little bit of resources, despite the challenging circumstances that it's set in. And it's very metaphorical for the populations that we serve.
So go ahead and give us some background for you, obviously being the founder. Give us the storyline for what led you to launch the Aloe Family.
Sure. So I have a history of growing up doing mission work in Mexico. So since I was 12 years old, would go down to Mexico and volunteer at different orphanages. We would do construction projects, work with soup kitchens. And so from the time that I was 12 years old up until 2020, we were just working in that small town in Mexico. In 2020, it was COVID times and the world was shutting down a little bit. And so we weren't traveling to Mexico as much. And a friend of mine who runs an incredible organization called Dream Streets reached out to me and she said, Natalie, while you're home from Mexico, there is this community and they were having trouble. The kids weren't set up for virtual school, and they're also really needing some resources like food. But when she got there, nobody was speaking English. They were all speaking Spanish. So we were going to do like a 2-week project to get the kids all set up for virtual school and connected to virtual school. But after getting to know the kids and the families, we realized that there was a lot of similarities between the population that we were serving in Mexico already and some of the families that we were serving here in Nashville. And there was a huge need for individuals who were far from their families. So in Mexico, we saw that a lot with kids transitioning out of orphan care or people that just didn't have family members to come alongside them. And then in Nashville, we were serving a lot of immigrant and refugee families. And so they were so far from their family. And we saw that both populations just really needed a hand up and someone to come beside them so that they could be self-sufficient, specifically in the areas of job skills training and entrepreneurship and education. And then we have a third area, we call it hope and healing, but that's things that you just need to survive so you can focus on other things like food, therapy, and meeting those other mental, physical, and spiritual needs.
Talk about the programmatic pieces, because as you're alluding to, there's a lot, especially on the academic side, adults, youth. So talk about the different programs.
Sure. So all of our programs, they exist in both countries, and we also have some partnerships in other countries as well. But here in Nashville, we have a tutoring program. So Mondays and Wednesdays after school, the kids can get off the bus and they come right into our office, and we're able to help them with their homework. So a lot of times these kids are smart, they want to learn, they can learn quickly, but if they don't understand their instructions to their homework, and if their parents don't speak English to be able to help them, they get really behind. So we do a free tutoring program. And in the summertime, that transitions into a reading comprehension and English program for kids. And then we also have programs for the parents. So we have a job skills and entrepreneurship program. So it's an 8-month course. They come for 2 hours a week and they get an English class that's very interactive, that focuses on talking, like actually talking more than writing, although they do learn writing as well, and things that they would use in a business setting. And then they do a personal finance, a budgeting, and an entrepreneurship course. So this course is created for people who maybe have very, very little educational background, or we've had people use it who have already graduated from college in their home country. And then at the end, they're able to get a small business loan and be able to launch that business. And then we also have free fresh food programs. Every Sunday, our families receive a box of fresh groceries to be able to alleviate a little bit of the weight of purchasing healthy food. And a community day where we bring in other partners who come and they teach classes. They do fun activities with the kids, back to school parties, and things like that.
Carry that into talking about your team, because you have an amazing team, and including your husband too. So talk about it being a family affair and talk about your team.
Yeah. So we do have, I'm a little biased, but I think it's the best team in the world. So we've got an incredible group of people, both here in Nashville and in Mexico, who are incredibly committed to the people that we serve. So our name is the Aloe Family. And the reason that we put that family word on the end is because we want to be family for people who don't have family or who are far from it. So we operate as a family, and our services are very, very wraparound. We celebrate birthdays and babies, and we go through hard things together, and walk alongside for a long-term commitment, not something that's just, you come and receive our services and goodbye. As far as our family goes, my husband has been a huge part of the organization from the start. And we actually started this organization with our best friends. So we do it together. It is not a 9-to-5. It's more of a 24/7. But we truly love it. And as difficult as things can be sometimes, supporting vulnerable populations, it's also just so full of blessings and life-giving days and moments. So.
Talk about how it has changed your life, but also really changed your perspective on your ability to, as you mentioned in the onset, you saw a need, but then that transitioned into creating a movement, right? So talk about kind of how it's changed your life, but changed your perspective on your ability to create positive change and help others.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I've learned is a total shift in mindset of even what charity work or nonprofit is. Every single person has strengths inside of them, and every single one of us has been in a place at some point in our life where we were in need and needed someone to give us a little grace and help us out. And we all are in different parts of our life where we are the ones that are able to extend grace and give someone a hand up. And even though we started the Aloe Family, and we're the founders, and we're the ones that are usually doing the giving, every single day we need help. And so the reason that the Aloe Family has been so successful is because we find and see the resilience and the strengths and the resources that every individual has, whether that's a volunteer, whether that's someone who's receiving our services, or a staff member. And we give and take. So we ask our program participants to help each other. We ask them to help us and to volunteer sometimes when we need an extra hand. We ask our volunteers to be willing to learn and to, leave assumptions and preconceived thoughts at the door, and always be willing to be curious, and assume the best. And so it's really changed my perspective that we're always learning and we're always growing. And if we keep that mindset, then it just opens the door to really, really beautiful things.
You definitely don't have to name names, but give us a story that puts a smile on your face, a story of impact and success.
We have a woman here in our program in Nashville, and she's actually a little bit younger than I am, but I just admire her so much. She has several kids, and she came here from Honduras with really just the clothes on her back, and her kids coming out of a really tough and dangerous situation. And so we were able to walk with her basically from the beginning whenever she got here, through legal and immigration processes and through getting kids signed up for school. And she actually was able to launch a business. And so getting to see her be creative and learn things like how to use the computer, how to use Canva. She screen prints, she makes shirts, and seeing her bring her background into her designs and her motivation of wanting to support her family and her children. So her creativity, along with her passion and her need, it has just grown into something that's so, so beautiful. Her kids are a part of our tutoring program as well. And now she's become a leader in the community that we're able to rely on her whenever we need something, if we need to round up the community or short on volunteers. So she's definitely someone who stands out to me.
I know on your website, you've got the ability to purchase items to support your efforts. Talk about how the community can support your efforts.
Yeah, so we launched a business called the Aloe Family Marketplace, and it's the social enterprise that supports the job skills program through the Aloe Family nonprofit. So all of the products that the entrepreneurs and the artisans that are in our programs, the products that they make, we purchase from them and we resell them online. And all of the money that comes in from purchasing those items goes right back into the job skills program, helping new entrepreneurs launch their business and supporting the current ones. So there's some amazing candles on there. There's some great merch, some accessories, even some soaps and things like that.
When you look at volunteer opportunities, so opportunities to physically serve, to see your impact, obviously financial support, talk about for everyone in Middle Tennessee, how do they get plugged in, especially to help your efforts in Nashville?
Yes, we have opportunities to serve and get involved almost every single day of the week. So we've got programs going on all the time. If you go to our website, thealofamily.com, and you click get involved, it will show you all of the dates to serve here locally in Nashville and also internationally as well. We also, a huge part of our funding is through events and fundraisers. So we have something going on almost every month. We've got a really exciting event coming up on June 9th where our entrepreneurs will actually be there displaying their skills and their crafts. And so, yeah, visiting our website, thealofamily.com, you can keep up to date with our golf tournament later this summer. You can help distribute the groceries or tutor a kid, become a mentor for one of the people in our business program. So we can definitely keep you busy.
Talk about why this work is so important in terms of the ripple effect for the community, because obviously you're helping the children, the adults, the families. But when you talk about creating a more kind, respectful, empathy, but also too, the entrepreneurs, the job creation, skills development, workforce development, like there's a lot of ripples that you're creating in the community that have an impact in a larger way. Talk about why this work is so important to the community at large.
I think this work is very important to our entire community, not just the community that we serve of immigrants and refugees, but also to Nashville as a whole, because we really emphasize our strengths, like we mentioned before, but also how as a community, when we come together, we're stronger. So the individuals in our programs, we really encourage them to help each other out. And if one person is working and the other person is watching the kids, well, everyone's happy. Everyone is able, if we all share a little bit of the load, we can all be happy and succeed together. And it's important for Nashville because I think a lot of times in Music City, we can get caught up in fame and the next shiny, bright thing. But coming back to empowering our neighbors and pushing them forward, and even just getting to understand a story that sounds nothing like yours and getting to see the strength in that, it can really create a community that's full of compassion and empathy and resilience. And so when we go through hard things, we know how to rely on each other and we know how to build each other up. And that's not just for the people in our program, that's also for our volunteers and the people who decide to get a little uncomfortable to enter into somebody else's struggles and challenges, but also their wins whenever they make it through. So.
Yeah, and I think you're building community, and just like you're talking about, I mean, a rising tide lifts all ships. And so by helping everyone and really bringing them together, it's more respect, kindness, empathy, like it's all those pieces, but you're strengthening community, which I think is really, really important for all of us. What's one more thing that you wish everyone knew about the Aloe family?
I would say I wish that everybody knew just how much fun the Aloe family is. We have so much fun. We are always laughing, and there's some heavy stuff that we see and that we go through every day. But overall, when I think of the Aloe family, I smile because we have a lot of fun doing it. And so if you're needing a little bit of joy in your life or a little bit of perspective, you cannot leave the Aloe family sad. It'll always leave you a little bit happier than when you got there, to see people just celebrating each other and overcoming hard things together.
Well, I know you've mentioned it before, but mention again as we wrap up: website, social media. Where do we go to learn more and get plugged in with the Aloe family?
Yes. Our website is thealoefamily.com, and Instagram and Facebook are really the ways that you can stay up to date with the day-to-day needs and events coming up. So on Instagram, our handle is @thealoefamily, and on Facebook, it's the Aloe Family Inc.
Well, Natalie, thank you for all you and your amazing team do to power the good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most: the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.